Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli. First of all, I would like to thank His Excellency Brother MashaAllah for giving a very thoughtful, incisive, frank presentation. May I recollect that in the IPS we have initiated this series of roundtables to focus on some of the critical issues and, if possible, provide some input for policymakers by at least identifying, if not fully clarifying, all the issues they have to be addressed. We began in China, and it is our recognition of the role of Iran that the second of the series we invited our dear brother to make a presentation, and we propose to continue this process. Iran, different aspects of the historical dimension and cultural perspectives have been highlighted. I will be permitted to share another thought in this aspect, and that is that the historic and revolutionary emergence of Islam and its fast spread throughout different nooks and corners of the world, we find that in the initial process, Islamization and Arabization were two sides of the same coin. When Islam reached Persia, I am using the term deliberately, a process of indigenization of Islam, re-inauguration, and its projection and presentation, on the one hand, with roots in the original sources and respect for the tradition, but a flexibility to face the challenges of diversity of cultures, historical traditions. So we find a new model emerging. And that is a very important dimension which is often neglected, at least in my observation. Secondly, the issues presently involved can be discussed at the macro as well as the micro level. At the micro level, there have been very important developments, and there have been very serious lapses and breaches. It's not a time to share blame, but to honestly and objectively identify why things have not been able to move in the direction they should have. There could be technical, personal failures, but there could be more strategic issues. And that's why I think even the micro cooperation or lack of it has to be seen in the context of the macro situation. The way I see it, I think that the future of this region and of course the global scenarios would very much depend upon cooperation between Pakistan, Iran, Afghanistan, Central Asia, Middle East. Here, people are talking of isolation of Pakistani leadership vis-a-vis the current American, European pressures. But I think there is a more fundamental isolation, and that is between the leadership of these countries and the people of these countries. Policy making, unfortunately, is drifting in the direction of the games played by the leaders, disregarding the feeling of the people. While in my view this phenomenon is not confined to Pakistan and the Muslim world, even in America and Western countries, this problem is there, but not to that extent, not to that intensity. And that's why many of the failures have to be traced to this vacuum, this de-link. And in my view, what is happening in the Middle East and Africa today is actually an effort to bridge that gap and to reassert the power of the people. And I have no reservation in saying that to me, democratization and Islamization are again two sides of the same coin. Because whatever be their failures, both in knowledge and practice, at least the aspirations of the people throughout in the Muslim world are towards Islam. Those of you who have seen Gallup surveys and their analysis by Esposito in his book, Who Speaks for the Muslims, it's very interesting that throughout the Muslim world, almost 90% of the people want to have Quran and Sunnah as the source of their guidance as individual and public life. So democratization to me would lead to Islamization. And the manner in which democracy had been scattered in the Muslim world was part of the strategy of the West, because they thought that with real democratization, Islam would become a major deciding force. I recollect in 1953, the first colloquium on Islam was held in Princeton, and one of the American professors, he made a very succinct observation, and he said that secular laws can be introduced in the Muslim world only through fiat of the government, and